Okay, on your orange lesson 4 problem solving practice page, we are going to take a look at numbers 1 and 2 together. If you read along right above those boxes for 1 and 2 is the description of the problem. Car rental. For exercises 1 and 2, use the following information. Ace Car Rentals charges $20 per day plus a $10 service charge to rent one of its compact cars. The total cost can be represented by the equation y equals 20x plus 10, where x is the number of days and y is the total cost. Okay, so number 1 wants us to graph the equation. So a couple things I want to go through before we start graphing. This charging $20 per day, let me do this, $20 per day. The minute you see per, you know that that is our pattern. That's our slope, that's our rate of change. Or our slope. Okay? It's our pattern. It's how our cost is going to increase by $20 per day. Plus a $10 service charge. So anytime you have some sort of service charge, initial fee, a charge or a number that is kind of like a flat rate, a number that doesn't change, a number that no matter what you do, that number is set. A service charge works that way. This is like our y-intercept. Okay, with a service charge, the car costs you $20 a day, but it's $10 no matter what. So if you have the car for 1 day, it's a $10 service charge. If you have the car for a week, it's a $10 service charge. Where they charge per day is the $20 per day. Okay, so these service charges, that's the y-intercept, because no matter how long you have this car, the starting point when you walk out the door with those keys, you've been charged $10. That's where we get this equation. Okay, so our 20x comes from our $20 per day. Okay, just color code this so you can kind of see where everything's coming from. So this $20 per day gives us our slope. The $10 service charge, okay, we'll do green for that. There's our y-intercept. Okay, so on my graph, before I do anything, at 0 days, I'm looking at a $10 fee. Okay, you'll see my purple point there. At 0 days, it's $10. So walking in that door, getting ready to rent a car, I'm paying these people $10, no matter how many days I take this car. Okay, now, if my equation is y equals 20x plus 10, okay, x is my number of days, y is my total cost. So if I were to put this into a table, okay, and x is my days, y is my cost, okay, if I were to put this into a function table, at 0 days, okay, I'm not going to have the y part. At 0 days, it's $20 per day plus the $10 fee. My total is $10. We already have that on our graph. Let's see, for 1 day, it's $20 for the 1 day plus my $10 fee. It's going to be $30. So at 1 day, I'm getting charged $30. 2 days, well, it's $20 per day. That's $40 plus that $10 fee I had to pay. Now, you don't pay $10 each day. You pay that at the very beginning. But we need to keep that in our table because that $10 needs to be taken into account that we paid the very first time we got this car. So at 2 days, it's $50. Okay, so you'll start noticing my slope was 20. You didn't even have to do a table. All we had to do was say, okay, well, originally I'm at $10. Well, my rate or my slope is 20 over 1. So I'm going to rise 20 and I'm going to run 1. There's my next point. Rise 20, run 1. There's my next point. Rise 20, run 1. Rise 20, run 1. Okay. Something else that's been happening, you do not need to draw these little triangles on here. All we need are points. And then we take those points and we connect them and make a line. Okay, so that would be what our graph looks like. All right. So this is not necessary. You should, at this point, be using the slope. I just wanted to do the table so you could see the actual numbers. But if we use our slope information, rise 20, run 1, it gets us each of our points. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, oh, let me get my graph back up. So we had $0, $10. After 1 day, it cost us $30. 2 days, it's $50. Let me get my line here. Okay. Explain how to use your graph to find the total cost of renting a compact car for 7 days. Then find this cost. Okay, so with our graph, we could continue along following our pattern. And if you'll notice, just while I'm graphing this, my points are in the middle of the 2 grid marks for each of these days. So I could go through and I could continue on. And I would see that at 7 days, this would be 140 is this tick mark. So in between here, this would be, 7 days, $150. Okay. Now you can double check yourself a few ways. You could use the online graphing calculator, or you can use your equation. We know that X is the day, okay? And you could double check yourself by substituting 7 in for the X, just to make sure you have the right answer. It's 140 plus 10, which is 150. So I know I'm right. The question is, though, what we need to be careful of is this is asking us, explain how to use your graph. So that's on you, how you want to explain how you would use your graph. You could say you would continue using the slope till you get to the 7. You could have also said you would take a ruler and you would measure through, and if you did the measurement, you would see that it was going to be $150. That's kind of up to you how you determine the cost of 150. Do know it is 150 when you're checking yourself.